All right, so here we are. Here I am, and this is the beginning of my YouTube channel, Wake Up, Rise Up, Conquer. First video, not the first video I've ever created. However, the first video explaining the topic for which I stand for in life. And, you know, I started thinking this takes, there really is no definite, Tara, what's your mission? What is it that you want to talk about? Because there's so many things that come to my mind, so many things that I want to talk about, so many ideas that are downloaded, but they're not always necessarily for myself. These ideas are not always for me to implement in my life. Sometimes they are, but might just not be the right time. However, I do believe that the things that are downloaded, you know, into my head are meant to be spoken and not always meant to keep inside. So, in saying that, what does this whole wake up, rise up, conquer thing have to do with anything, right? I mean, we hear so many people talking about, you know, that we have the ability to overcome things, that we can take our victim mentality and turn that into a victor mentality. There's so many books out there, there's already so many motivational speakers, and so I started thinking, what does this have to do with me? There's so many people out there already that are talking about all of these awesome things, but this is the difference. There's a lot of people that, you know, were sitting on the roof, let's just say, for such a long time, and they have all this experience, life experience that they can share with people and, you know, kind of teach them and guide them and give them advice on how to move past these certain challenges that others are having in life. I'm not there yet. My whole thing, me, what I represent right now, is kind of that person that's sitting on top of the roof, learning it all, taking it all in, and I'm in like the midst of figuring all this stuff out. So this channel is here to kind of be just that relatable channel, that relatable person, that relatable woman with children, you know, with my own experiences that can connect with some of you. And no, this channel is not for all of you. This channel is not for a wide audience or for, you know, for the masses of people to come and watch or to glean from. This is me here with you, walking through imperfection and walking through certain circumstances, situations in my life that will only gravitate us, only certain people, probably only a certain few, a small group of people will gravitate towards. So I like to be as authentic and as vulnerable as I can. Obviously, I'm still learning how to do that on video. I'm still learning how to put myself out there, in the sense that not everything in my life, not everything in your life is meant to be aired, to be talked about online. Not all of my experiences are meant to share with a huge variety of people. So I don't know exactly what this is gonna look like, but I do know that whenever there's something that's been placed upon my heart or something that's been, like I said, downloaded into my mind, I just have this desire at times to share. And I want this to be, you know, a safe place, as safe as it can be in the online world, to be able to share my experiences, my struggles, what I'm trying, what's working, what's not working, and just to be that connector. Sometimes we don't always have people in our close circles that we feel comfortable talking to. But when it's somebody that's, you know, kind of like on the outside and we can say, hey, I don't know this person, but what she's saying is really resonating with me because I'm going through the same thing. That's what I'm here for. That's what this channel is all about. And just a little bit about what Wake Up, Rise Up, Conquer really means is that, through all the faults and all of our failures and all of our mistakes and our screw ups and trying to kind of just like fumble through life, if you woke up this morning, that means you have a plan and a purpose and a mission. That means it's time to rise up. We don't always feel like it. The mistakes from our past, from yesterday, are bogging us down in the morning, and sometimes it's the first thing that we think about. But if you woke up this morning, you have a plan and a purpose for your life. And that's when you gotta rise up. You get out of bed, whether you feel like it or not, and then you conquer. Now, conquering, when I say conquer, it sounds like it should be like this huge, massive steps that we take, where it's like, I'm gonna change my life today. I'm gonna right my wrongs. I'm gonna do all of these fabulous, awesome, amazing things to conquer this day, to conquer my life, to conquer this week, this year. But it doesn't always look like that. That's not what conquering is all about. If you made it to the end of your day, then you conquered this day. It doesn't always look huge or massive. And that's where we get stuck, I think, because we take these ideas and thoughts that we get, and these ideas and thoughts and inspirations, set us up, plant these seeds to be successful in a day. But then real life happens, and, things go wrong in a day. We can get to the end of the day and beat ourselves up because we didn't handle situations the way that we intended to. But the fact that you get the next day to try again, to be that 1% better, and even if you're not, you're still worthy. Even if you still mess up, you're still worthy. As human beings, we are all gonna mess up. Some days we mess up in little ways, some days we mess up royally. This life is not about being perfect, and it's not even about, accomplishing amazing things, but it's about learning and growing and progress. And sometimes progress doesn't, I've said this before, this progress isn't just, climbing the mountain and getting to the top. Sometimes progress is climbing up the mountain and sliding back down a little bit, but not staying there, taking a detour. Going around the mountain sometimes feels like we're not getting anywhere, and like that's not making progress. But each time we go around the mountain, we learn something new. And if you think back in your life and you look at these things where you're like, I tried to transform in these areas, I keep failing, I keep failing, I keep failing. I bet if you take the time to actually look within and take that time to reflect and look back, you'll notice that you have been making progress. Even if you take tiny baby steps, even if, you made these like just tiny little like increments of moving forward, that's still progress. Falling down and failing and screwing up and making mistakes, that doesn't mean that you haven't made any progress. That means that you have a lesson to learn. That means that mistake or that failure is just giving you another opportunity to try again, to make things right, to take a different route. So that's what this channel is all about. Waking up, rising up, and conquering. And conquering doesn't, like I said, always look so huge. We take the things in our lives and we only deem accomplishment based on these great, big, huge things that we're doing. This morning I'm reading Mel Robbins', I can't even remember, the high five habit. So where you high five yourself in the mirror every morning. And there's all this scientific research behind it that, it changes the way you think. You encourage yourself like you would encourage anybody else. It talks about the power of a high five. This morning, I'm only at like chapter 2, but this morning, I've been so frustrated with my kids to the point where like, I don't only feel like a miserable human being by the end of the day some days, or a miserable mother, I should say, but just a miserable human being. And it makes you not even want to try because you're just like, I'm so afraid that I'm going to screw up and not get it right that I just want to block everything out and not even try to do anything. So this morning, I think, you know, why not? I'm gonna try it. So my kids come downstairs after they brushed their teeth and did their hair and all that other fun stuff. And I put up my hand. Each child came down at a different time. I put up my hand and they kind of looked at me like, what? But you know, in their head, they're like, Mom's giving me a high five. The look on their faces, the smile, like I paid attention to what you know, their reactions. And I gave them a high five. And just in that moment, I was like, there is a win for today. I wasn't yelling at them. I wasn't delegating. I wasn't like, okay, did you brush your teeth? Okay, now do this, now do this, now do that. Me giving them a high five changed my attitude. It changed theirs. It brought like the sense of encouragement, like this, you know, when you give someone a high five, like, yeah, you got this, I've got this. So there's an example. You just conquered that morning because you made one decision. I made one decision and took one tiny step to do something different, to get out of the monotonous yelling at my kids and, you know, that nagging at my kids to do stuff. I made one tiny decision to flip a switch, and that ended up changing the whole morning. Now tonight after school might be a different story. But I'm gonna take that win that I had this morning and I'm gonna be encouraged by it because I encouraged my children, I encouraged myself, and I just conquered. I conquered this morning. It was awesome. It's these tiny little things that we do. Stop focusing on the great big things and start focusing on every tiny little decision that you make that goes right. It's so easy to focus on everything that goes wrong. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it off with that. I'm gonna come up with some topics to share with you guys. I'll pop them in the descriptions. Like I said, this channel's not for everybody. I'm a woman, I'm a mother, I work full time, and I will be the first person, the second person, third person, fourth person to admit that I am completely imperfect, and I'm just gonna be as vulnerable as I can because I know that there's other women out there that feel the same. We often feel so alone, like no one has ever yelled at their children the way that I have. There's a lot of moms that feel that way. There's a lot of moms and a lot of women that are going through things that only share just a little bit with their friends or their family about what they're going through, but that deep emotion on the inside where they're just like, no, I'm feeling shame. I've failed. I've screwed up for the second, third, and fourth time. I haven't learned my lesson. I'm not worthy of forgiveness. I'm not worthy of trying again. That's what this channel is all about. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Remind you to wake up, rise up, and conquer, because you do have that power within you to wake up and rise up and conquer.